Hey HDA and welcome back to Ixion, which will likely be the last episode because we're getting very close to completing the Promised Land quest. We have a planet here that we want to colonize, we have another planet here which has friendly plants-like humanoids on it that wanted us to join them, but apparently we kind of locked ourselves out of that quest. And so we have this very angry robot ship here that's trying to assimilate us and, well, was basically growling and saying nasty things at us. So hopefully we'll also find a way to take them out, because even if we colonize this planet, we have this angry battleship hanging above it, I don't think we're going to be in a very good position. And, well, the only place we're going to find out a way to blow up the Pyrenees, at least so far we know right now, is on the planets. And we are now on Aventine. Preliminary data contains many inconsistencies. Aventine emits large amounts of particles that are not supposed to be detached from an atomic structure. Although these emissions do not appear to pose any physical danger to our scientific teams, theorized psychological impacts range from the unknown to the disastrous. Though the security protocols recommend extreme caution. We have landed on the planet and a powdery layer of yellow sulfur covers Aventine. It falls into the many crevices strewn across the planet's surface. The interior of the hollow planet is revealed through these fissures, which offer a spectacular view down to the Aventine's core. It's unlike anything we've seen. Telluric pillars support the planet's surface, reaching up out of the central, perfectly spherical core. Like a metallic seed, it seems to absorb the rain of powdered sulfur that falls upon it from above. So this is again one of those spheres. We can either study the surface or we can study the core. No, let's go straight to the core. What I'm also going to do is re-automate the missile countermeasure system, because again we have the Pyrenees in the system, and I just realized that I don't have any way to defend myself if for whatever reason they start firing those missiles again. Also, there's no reason to have two of these probe launchers building these, because apparently you can only build one probe at a time. We also had our diamond-covered planet Lupercal, and we were trying to do some research there as well. Large quantities of data have been sent by the team on Lupercal. They have identified the presence of Frau's tachyons on the planet, and their reports contain a great excitement about new potential discoveries, Volt jump theory, and Frau's work on matter undulation. However, we have received a concerning message from the infrastructure's dedicated PA, warning that the team behavior is becoming unusual, though the security protocols recommend on immediate conclusion to the mission. Okay then. So what do we do? Do we leave the planet as suggested, or do we continue with the extraction and analysis? I don't think we actually gained anything yet from this event, did we? So surely there must be something worth at the end. I'm guessing we're going to find out soon enough, but first let's see what's going on at our sphere. The team of the Mendeleev had great difficulty establishing a study protocol for the planet's core. After multiple attempts, conclusions indicate that the huge central sphere interacts with elementary particles, including bosons and Frau's tachyons, in a selective and unpredictable manner. 10 previously unknown elementary particles have been identified. Data from the Aventine core analysis will pave the way for new scientific and technology models for years to come. So, interesting. Lots of sciencey stuff. But what I want to know is, do we actually find out what these spheres are all about? So, I guess not yet, so let's study the surface of Aventine first. Meanwhile, back at Lupercal, at some point in its lifespan it was exposed to strong gravitational and electromagnetic forces as well as nuclear radiation. The team has put forward two explanatory theories. First identifies Ilia's transformation to a white dwarf as the cause of this exposure. The second derives from the works of Frauss and Bargeville. It posits that the existence of one or more entities within self-similar space, entities that could or may interact with our material plane, would result in aberrations in the fundamental forces of nature. On the cusp of true discovery, the team has requested further time to be invested into the studies on Lupercal. They're doing self-similar meditation, conducting litanies, praying to the jellyfish, formulating hypotheses. Praying to the jellyfish? I'm not entirely sure what it usually says, because honestly I haven't really been paying attention to this. But I'm guessing it was nothing like this. I don't know. We should probably leave the planet, but I'm just gonna go and find out what's happening because, well, I'm curious like that. We might as well just lose another couple of scientists, right? And speaking of our scientists, A.V. Ryan here from the Scientific Syndicate of Sector 1. So, good news and bad news. The good news is that we found a solution to permanently solve the Pyrenees problem. Now that we have finally reached a viable exoplanet, the Tycoon has no further purpose. As such, we propose the following. While preparations are being made for the colonization, the Tycoon sector should be filled with batteries. Once they are charged and the crew ready for exit, a flight path will be plotted for the Tycoon to crash into the Pyrenean Sea. According to our calculations and based off recent experiences within the PSR system, igniting the stored power should be enough to destroy the BMS warship. Now, for the bad news. Only you can command the Tycoon system. If we were to disconnect you, you will have to be on board when the Tycoon crashes. I'm sorry. So we can say understood, or we can use the copy of the Protagoras' PA to direct the Tycoon to its last moments. I think we deserve not to die in the crash, right? Okay, so apparently now, aside from having to build the 20 shuttles, we also need to build enough batteries to cover an area of 1,000 tiles. We're a pretty good way towards that number already. In terms of preparing colonists, well, I'll show you. We have almost 1,200 colonists here, 700 colonists here, 1,000 colonists over here, and 1,300 colonists over here. Basically everyone who's a non-worker, except for the last 162 people, which I cannot train for a reason I can't figure out. We've actually transformed everyone into a colonist. And the reason I think that we cannot do the remaining one, let me quickly go to Sector 1, is because we have upgraded the colonization centers and... Well, I have this set to automate it, but let's see if we can manually queue those up, because for some reason it's not automatically doing it, I think because it's less than 200, but maybe if we do it manually it will do it anyway. So it looks like we're going to put Sector 5 to use after all, putting down some Tier 3 batteries, Tier 2, Tier 1 to fill up the space. Might actually need to remove some of this housing over here as well at some point. I'm actually starting to do that in a couple of sectors where I have more housing than I need. It makes the sectors look a little bit more ugly, but then again, since we're going to throw the spaceship into the enemy's face anyway, it's not going to look very pretty after that anyway. I'm also going to delete the cryonic centers because we won't need them anymore. We have no one to unfold. It doesn't seem that we're going to find anyone else to do that with. So that will clean up some space. I'm actually thinking we can probably... remove this colonization center over here as well, because we have trained everyone we can train and the last people are being trained over here, and that should leave a lot more room in order to free up some more space for batteries. I had some room in sector 2 left as well, so I'm not entirely sure if this is going to add up to the 1,000 tiles, but it should get us a long way, and basically anywhere where I have more housing than I need, I'm going to tear those down as well in order to free up some space. As a bit of a side note, by the way, I actually have all my cargo ships disabled at the moment. These were only there to make sure we had some way to transport stuff to planets. But I'm actually only bringing in ice at the moment because everything else I have plenty of, and it was actually starting to kind of clutter up my space station because you can't really move things easily around if all your storage units are full. So yeah, having too much stuff is actually a problem apparently. Anyway, let's figure out what's going on with our sphere. Analysis indicate that the mass-defining particles that constitute the matter of Aventine possess an altered state. The surface of the planet contains many isotopes previously thought impossible. Many of our theoretical models have been called into question following the discoveries made on Aventine. Unfortunately, the planet's surface is extremely friable, making any longer-term exploration attempts unviable. Well then, I guess we're going to leave the planet and not find out what the spheres are about. That's a little disappointing. And meanwhile, back at Lupercal, this doesn't look good. We are no longer receiving transmissions from the Hope team. Behavioral analysis of their final communications has identified signs of unhealthy fascination and self-destructive tendencies. Before enacting what they refer to as the descent to other gods, the team transmitted a final packet of study data. Okay, well, 550 more signs apparently, but we also lost everyone on the ship. Yeah, well, okay, we can repatriate the Hope, or we can just declare them as lost. Well, I don't know what the difference between these options is, but I do want my ship back, so let's go for this one. So that means that, you know, we have 600 signs waiting for us here, 50 more over here, about 100 over here, and 50 here, and we already have about 1,000. So at least you're not going to run out of signs anytime soon in this game. And speaking of science, the Syndicate site is finished, agricultural systems are operational, the infirmary is ready and stocked, and the research lab have been set up with all the necessary equipment. We have completed more than half of the work required to successfully colonize Romulus. Half. Okay, interesting. So what other things do we need to do? The crew of the Ripley, we prepare the Astengite site. We will be able to produce refined resources and maintain our vehicles and infrastructure. Oh, well, that makes sense. Let's build that as well, and let's find a ship to do that, and let's go with this one. It doesn't really matter. So it feels like we're doing a pretty good job at efficiently playing out this particular level. We've constructed 2 of the sites so far. We have done most of the batteries already. We have more than 20 colony ships actually. You can still keep building these even if you have enough. Let me show you. As you can see, for example, we have 24 shuttles already, and we are still building more. Not sure if there's a point to that, but might as well. We have all the colonists ready, so I think in terms of speed of this level, there's not really any way to do it faster than we already are. Meanwhile, I'm still a little bit worried about the Pyramidesi just chilling out at the edge of the solar system for the moment. I'm not entirely sure what they're up to, but I guess we're going to find out sooner rather than later, because everything in this level so far has been timed. So I'm guessing this will be as well. Interesting note actually is that apparently the science doesn't go above 999, even though the other alloy at least did. So I'm guessing we're again kind of breaking the system, and no one actually expected us to get more than 999 signs. If you're wondering if this signs that we're now collecting is getting lost, it doesn't look like it. It seems that the game does know how much signs we actually have, because I actually tested it out by moving the ships away. I'm still doing research, of course, in the background, and it wasn't actually ticking down anymore, even though I was doing research. So it's just a visual thing, but it's interesting to see what that's like. In the meanwhile, all my other ships are done everywhere else, so all we need to do now is collect some science, build some more batteries, prepare the colonists, and hopefully blow up this evil-looking ship on the edge of the solar system. Now my sights are starting to look very dangerous with all these batteries everywhere. I'm still removing some buildings. It's taking a lot of time because we have so much stuff to move around. As you can see, we are getting some open spaces here and there where we can place in some batteries, and let's have these start to be built. And then we can take out maybe some more of these actually. Which section am I in? Can I still remove things from section 4? Yes, I can without people going homeless. Because that would be a little bit weird to throw them out of their homes because we have to build batteries in order to self-destruct. Although, I guess being homeless is not the worst thing in the world if being homeless means that you're not going to die because an angry ship is not going to come and blow you up. Yeah, all in all, it's starting to look pretty good. Still need some more room, so let's get to it. Well, it seems we have all the batteries that we need, so I just turned up the power to 100% on the nuclear plant to charge them even further and faster. And as you can see, this is going to go pretty well. They're already 92% charged, and we're actually still building more batteries because it was a little bit hard for me to guess how much I would need. Of course, I guess I could have done the math, but didn't really feel like it. And, well, just making sure you build some extra ammunition when you're going to try and blow someone up is probably not a bad idea either. We're only going to get one shot. And the construction of the Stengenite site has been completed as well, and we are so efficient right now. A multi-factory will allow us to transform the raw materials of Romulus into usable resources. The vehicle storage bay and the technical maintenance room are operational. The first human city on Romulus has just been born. And apparently that's all we need to do right now, so let's leave Romulus. Now I am a little sad that we turned off the PA before we actually did the event at Remus, because I'm really interested to know now what would have happened if we did, because, well, yeah, this seems rather straightforward, and it's definitely one way to get to the ending, but there's a completely different ending waiting for us as well. So, replayability is there for sure. And actually, it's kind of fun to play it the second time around, because you know what you're going to get into, so you can kind of prepare, maybe plan out your sectors even more neatly than I've been doing so far. Again, I think I've been doing a pretty decent job, but this is a blind playthrough on my side, so it could have been done a lot more neat and efficient if you know exactly what you're getting into from the start. Meanwhile, we also have 40 shuttles available, so they're way more, at least twice more than the recommended number, so hopefully that also means we can get everyone safe to the ground. Well, the science ships are on their way back because we completed all the science collection. I think we have like 2,000 science now, even though it doesn't tell us. And the batteries are charging really, really fast because, of course, we have that nuclear power plant running at full speed. So let's see what happens once we do that. No messages, no nothing. Fly the Tycoon into the Pyrenees via the Planetary system map. Shouldn't we get the people off board first? No, guess not. Okay, so we just moved the Tycoon into the Pyrenees. Oh, loading screen is promising.
Administrator, if you are listening to this message, it means the Tycoon has reached its destination, despite the unpredictable parameters that framed the equation of its journey. The crew have found a new home, whether the one planned for or another. These survivors have already begun to lay the foundations of a new cradle, where creativity, invention, and joy can bloom again. Perhaps you already understand why I insisted, why the mission launch was precipitated. When I discovered that the lunaclism was inevitable, I also understood that any attempt to save our species after this would have been doomed to fail. You took the helm in the only launch window available to us. Thanks to you, our efforts, our mistakes, our sins and sacrifices will sink into oblivion, into the past, while the first pages are written for a newly born humanity.
Okay, we won! And apparently the shuttles took care of themselves because we saw them leaving before the Tycoon exploded. So, lots of achievements, yay! But, yeah, I kind of wish we had the opportunity to complete the entire technology tree. Why? Just because we could. But anyway, this was a very satisfying end with a very efficient end as well, thanks to our completely overpowered space station. So I hope you enjoyed this particular series. Let me know in the comments if you actually played the game yourself, if you intend to play it yourself. And if you do, and you do the other ending, let me know what that is all about, because of course I would be very interested. And I try not to look these things up online because that kind of ruins any game for the future as well. So once again, if you're still here, you're awesome. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next one.